Hi everyone, today I'll be reviewing the Caran D'Ache pastel pencils. Some people love these and some people don't, so I thought I'd give you my opinion of them. I've got the 76 set, which comes in a lovely sturdy box, and inside there are 3 trays of pastel pencils. Each tray has a foamy insert which holds all of the pencils nicely and protects them from any damage. It also comes with a leaflet and a little bit of sandpaper which could be used to sharpen the tips of the pencils, which is what I've used it for. I think these pastel pencils look so nice and professional. The wood casing is great quality and very pleasing to the eye. Compared to the Stabilo Carbothello pastel pencils, for example, these are a lot heavier and they feel like much better quality when you hold them. This set also comes with a graphite pencil and a charcoal pencil. I'm not really too sure why these were included in the set, and I've not used them myself, but you might find them useful to have in this set depending on what sort of artwork that you do. I just don't really have a use for them myself. I love the colour range in this set. I find that there are so many colours which I use often, and I can't find in any other pastel pencil ranges from other brands. There's a wide range of greens, blues, reds, you name it. The only colours I think it's lacking are some warmer greys, because most of the greys are quite cool toned and have a bluish tint to them, which you'll see when I swatch them later. But other than that, I really love the colour range in this set. You can buy some smaller sets as well of these pastel pencils, so if you just wanted to try a few of them out, you could either buy a smaller set or you could buy the pencils individually. Being able to buy them individually is really handy because if I run out of a particular colour, I can just replace it rather than having to buy a whole new set, which is obviously really good. In this clip, I'm just trying to show you the size comparison between a Caran D'Ache pastel pencil and a Faber-Castell Pitt pastel pencil. The Caran D'Ache ones are a bit thicker, which you can't really tell here, but they definitely are thicker as they don't fit into a regular size sharpener like the other ones do. This is a bit annoying because it means that there are less ways to sharpen them, but on the other hand, if I tried to use a Caran D'Ache pastel pencil with a regular sharpener, it just probably would break and crumble anyway, as they're very soft pencil inside, like the pastel is really soft. Because the barrels are thicker, it also means that the pastel inside is thicker, so you get a lot of pastel within each pencil, which is obviously good for your money. I do think these pastels are very difficult to sharpen though, which is probably their biggest downfall. The pastel inside is quite soft compared to other brands of pastel pencils that I've tried, so the pastel often crumbles. And because the wood of the pencil is such good quality, it's quite hard to use a craft knife to sharpen them as well. So using a craft knife is the only way I've found to sharpen these, and then I use some sandpaper afterwards to sharpen the tips a little bit more. As you can see here, even once I've used the knife to sharpen the pastel, it still isn't very sharp. Here's a close-up clip of one of the pastel pencils. You can see how good the quality of the barrel is just by looking at it, which is what you would expect from the price of these, as these are not cheap at all. They have the shade names on the barrels as well as the pencil code and also the Lightfast rating. I'll get more into the Lightfast ratings later on in this video. For some reason, one of the blue pastel pencils in this set does not have a shade name on it, which is strange. I'm not sure why that is, but never mind. So now I'm going to get onto the swatches of each colour. I'll be showing you the pastel pencil before each swatch, so hopefully you can see the name of each shade as well. I'm using pastel matte paper here, which is the paper that I always use for all of my pastel artwork. It's just my favourite go-to paper of choice. These pastel pencils are so creamy to apply. They apply like butter and they blend together so well as well. So it's really easy to mix colours together to create new shades. A few of the pastels have gritty bits in though, which I've heard other people mention as well a few times. There are basically some hard gritty bits in some of the pastels which make them quite scratchy and a lot harder to apply sometimes. The only way I've found to get rid of this is just to keep sharpening them or like scraping away the pastel with a craft knife until you get past the scratchy gritty bits. I must admit, for the price of these I would have expected better than this, but because they're so creamy and bright and vibrant pastels, I can look past this. These pastels have great Lightfast ratings for the most part. In case you aren't sure what I mean by Lightfast rating, it's a scale used to tell us how long we expect the pigments to last when exposed to light. These pastels use a 5-star rating system. 4 or 5 is really good, 3 is okay, and a 1 and 2 is not that great. If I want to sell an original piece of artwork or I'm working on a commissioned piece, I tend to only use the ones rated a 4 or a 5 because I want to make sure that my artwork lasts as long as possible and won't fade or discolour over time. Luckily, not many of these pastels have a low rating. Most of them are rated a 3, a 4 or a 5. I think only a couple of them are rated a 2, so that's really good since I can then use most of the shades in my original artwork. If you aren't planning to sell or display your artwork, then the lightfast ratings won't be as important to you, so that would be fine. As I'm swatching these, you'll be able to see how good the colour range is. There are just so many bright colours, but also a nice variety of neutral colours which are great for wildlife pieces and portraits. The colours are also pigmented as well. They're just so vibrant and the colour lays down so well on the paper. Since these are a softer pastel though, you can expect to get quite a lot of pastel dust, which doesn't really bother me, but if it does bother you, then that's something to consider. Because these pastels are so soft and they are difficult to sharpen, they aren't great for finer details as you can't really get precise lines with these. Usually I use these for my base layers since they're so creamy and they blend out incredibly easily using a blending stump. They're quick to use for base layers and they're really thick and soft. I then use my other brands such as the Faber-Castell Pit Pastels and the Stabilo Carbothellos on top to add in the detail afterwards. I don't think I could create an entire piece of art using just these on their own, but in conjunction with other brands I think they're perfect and can create some really lovely artwork. Of course, if you don't add much fine detail into your artwork and you have a completely different style to me, then these might work perfectly for you on their own. I especially find these useful when I want to cover a large area with pastels quickly because these are so quick to lay down, it just speeds up the drawing process a lot. You could also use pan pastels for this, but I find that using these pastels for my base layers is just my preferred method, as I get a bit more precision. The only thing I really use pan pastels for would be for backgrounds and things. You might be able to see what I mean about the greys now. There are a lot of blue toned greys which can be a bit annoying, but if I want some warmer greys I can just use some pastels from a different brand or a different set. Whilst recording this voiceover, I have noticed that the camera keeps focusing and unfocusing, which has become more obvious as I've sped the video up a bit, so I really hope that isn't too annoying and that you can still see the shades clear enough. The last two shades that I swatched are the Graphite pencil and the Charcoal pencil. Like I said earlier, I don't have a use for these, but you might find them useful depending on your style of artwork. You can also see from this close-up clip that the pastel dust is laying on the paper that I mentioned earlier, but I just blow this off and it isn't a problem for me. So overall, I love these pastel pencils and I couldn't live without them, but I also understand why they may not suit everyone's style of working. I love the softness of them. I think that's why I love them so much. That and the high lightfast ratings. I think my two favourite things about these are those two things. I mostly use these for my base layers since they are so smooth and creamy and create a nice even base layer, so then I can add detail on top. I really hope you found this review useful. Let me know in the comments below what you think of these pastels. I've linked them in the description below in case you'd like to buy some and give them a try for yourself. So thank you all for watching and don't forget to like the video and subscribe, and I'll hopefully see you next time. Bye guys!